I'd like to call the meeting to order. Andrew, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Andrew Lowe.
Here.
Josh McDonald.
Here.
Greg Bogosian.
Here.
Honora Schiller.
Here.
Jeff Schreier.
Here.
Lynn Manget.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. I'm sorry?
Why do you have December's
The what?
This is from December.
I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
That's a question. They come up.
Yes.
It will.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm very sorry. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. First out of the box, the agenda. I need a motion and a second to accept the agenda as posted.
I move we accept the agenda as posted.
Second?
Second.
Ayes, nays?
Aye.
It has been accepted as posted. Excellent. Minutes. Approve the minutes of 7 January as posted. Second, first and second. Motion and a second, sorry.
I have corrections.
Okay.
On the approval of the agenda, it should be approval of agenda instead of approval of minutes. That I approved the agenda. And then I think in the future, when you look at BOA actually stands for Board of Adjustment rather than Board of Aldermen.
Is there a formal reason for that, or is that?
It's
what
always
the-
been, so whenever I see it, I think of Board of Adjustment rather than Board of Aldermen.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I would think BOA is a board of adjustment.
Okay.
Where do you see that?
What would you like to
I got under acceptance of minutes.
Regular December 2024 regular BOA meeting minutes. BOA should refer to Board of Adjustment, not Board of Aldermen.
So would you like it just all spelled out, or how would you like that referred to?
Yeah, Board of Aldermen.
Okay.
Okay.
So we need a second then to approve the agenda.
The minutes, these are the minutes,
The minutes
so,
as amended.
okay, I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes as amended.
I make a motion to
Second?
accept it as amended.
Second? Excuse me,
I'll
folks.
second that.
Thank you. Ayes and nays?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, they are amended and posted as amended. Remarks, petitions, complaints. Anyone here who would like to make a remark? But first, I would like to recognize Megan Eldridge, who is here and kind enough to attend tonight. She will be joining us on a permanent basis, as you all, I hope, are aware, on the 18th of February. So I invited her to come to the meeting just to see how we do things, and she may or may not have some better suggestions going forward. We look forward to that contribution. Ms. Bogosian, do you have anything you wish to say? You're just here to watch the circus.
No, not a circus.
I don't know. Okay, reports. Officer Conley, if you can put down your pina colada long enough to tell us.
I'm done with those.
Yeah. Congratulations on your years of service.
Absolutely.
Sorry?
Congratulations on the number of years.
Yeah, I lived here 45 years. That's all.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, the next year is probably gonna go slower. They're probably gonna retire at the end of this year. Well, it's first 45 years. Yeah, I'm telling you. Okay, does it matter where I'm standing or sitting this time?
No,
around?
does not.
All right. We had 157 actual calls for service and self-initiated calls by the officers. There were 2 actual incidents that required police reports in the last month. 3 alarms for the month of January and 4 open garage doors. It's obviously cold out there, things have slowed down. We had 5 accidents. One of them was on Kings Point where a vehicle struck a car that was parked on the side of the road, and then that car left the scene. It was relatively minor, but we're still looking for that car. Next one was on Clarkson and Kennington, a rear-end collision. That was also very minor during congested traffic. Then we had a dog that was struck on Kerrsdale, and unfortunately the dog succumbed to his injuries. And then a deer was struck up on Kerrs Mill, and that succumbed to its injuries as well. The drivers were not injured. And then we had a 2-car minor accident up at 2989 Clarkson. It was a car that was making an improper turn into the center lane and caused a minor collision. There was no injuries there. We had 13 moving violations that were issued this month and 13 non-moving violations and 54 warnings for a total of 80 traffic enforcements. We had one DWI arrest that is noted here on Whiting. Officers got a call of a vehicle was driving across lawns, and upon arrival they were able to locate the car and the driver, and after investigation it was clear that the driver was impaired. He was arrested and taken to the station and booked. This one is concerning. We had a burglary in the first degree that occurred on Kerrs Point Drive. Suspect entered the home through a window during the daylight hours. It was actually pried while the resident was at home. Officers set up a perimeter and extracted the resident who was still inside the house. Canines were sent in and cleared the home. Follow-up search failed to locate the suspect. In-home video confirms that the suspect was there. It wasn't just somebody's imagination of this guy. Dressed in black, facial, and a hood over his head, and a mask on at the same time. And we've got some pretty significant leads. The guy went to another area of St. Louis County and committed another burglary. We've got some good leads from that too. So, you know, I would say there's probably a better than not chance that we're going to make an arrest in this one. But why he did that, we don't know.
Did any, were any home surveillance cameras, ring cameras on the outside of the home able to catch
Officers
it?
went door to door trying to find those, and there's an awful lot of people that don't keep them running all the time. And it's, you would think if you went to the extent to put those things in, that you'd be running them all the time. But we had trouble finding anything that had. We got one that captured a vehicle on there that we didn't get the plate, but we got video of the vehicle. So.
With the flock cameras at the corner of Kerrsmill and Clarkson, and I believe there's one down on Kerrsmill someplace. We
got
any luck?
Well, what we did is, I don't want to jeopardize the investigation,
No.
but from the other burglary, we got a license plate and put that in, and we did see flock response all along the way. So that's one of the things that led us to meet with this person. Those are suspects.
Huh, okay.
Was that window obviously insecure, or?
No, it's pried.
I'm sorry?
Pried.
Oh, he pried it open.
He actually stood up on
Okay.
a bush and pried the window.
Jesus.
Okay. So you've been locking your windows
There's probably something inside of that house
that he knows
that
about.
specifically that he wants. Yeah.
So did the owner just lock herself in a room or something
Mhm.
and call the police?
Exactly right. The officers, when they got there, formed a perimeter around the house, and then they gave her directions on exactly what to do to extract her.
So was he gone, presumably by the time you got there?
Yeah.
He
That's-
realized he wasn't alone, probably, and booked.
We've got some information from some witnesses in the area that talked about a car that had been in the driveway several days ago, and then that day again. So
No, I sent it later.
so we're on as best we can, and we'll see what we get.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Like to know if you apprehend this
Sure.
individual.
I'll notify you as soon as that happens.
Okay. Okay, mayoral update. Couple of things here. Court fees. This month we had $3,414.01. Our investment account totals, our current portfolio value is $1,952,141. Total value in the money market, that's our total value as of this afternoon. As of a couple of days ago, the total value of the money market, cash available, was $235,137.13. Year-to-date income, just from 1 January to 31 January, is $4,795.20. Total income earned in fiscal year from July to January 2025 to January 31, 2025 is $45,902.13. So we're doing well there. Honora, you might be glad to know that the tar truck folks are going to housing court, scheduled for 4 March. And one of the Kerrs Mill Estates residents, the Barons, will go to housing court per the tree in her yard that's like a totem pole.
Yeah, he isn't in my ward.
Well, you mentioned him at several meetings, so.
Right, mainly because of the parking.
Right, so you might be glad to know that. We need to schedule a working session for the employee policy. I'd like to get this in place as soon as possible. So I need some dates from everybody regarding when you might be available. Any thoughts?
Do we need a working session? I mean, how many questions are there about it?
That's a big document to go through. We've never had this before. I feel strongly that we need a working session so we can all voice our opinions about all the sections. Anybody have any dates? Evenings? Days? You want me just to set it up and be there or be square?
Might help to know how many questions everybody has too, because everybody only has like one after reading the whole thing.
Make sure that everybody's actually read the whole thing, but I think there would be some discussion.
It'll be a quiz.
If there's only one question per person, then it will be a very short working session, which is great.
I
So-
have 5 questions.
I mean, I think it'd be good if you just pick a random day, 2 weeks
Okay.
out, and then anyone who has concerns or questions, submit something in writing. Hold your peace, and then have whoever wants to attend, those things we can take into consideration, throw it to the lawyer and be done, I guess, that way.
Okay?
But, obviously, we don't want to adopt a policy manual and then 2 months from now, people start questioning, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we think of that? So,
I just want to make sure we're good on sick leave, on vacation leave, how employee assessments are structured. Scott never put anything like this in place. This is a first for us. And to Pat's point, I don't want to be second guessing ourselves 2 months or 6 months down the road. I'd like to do this once so that everybody is on the same page as much as possible. Like I said, it's a big document. We paid John to do this. I'd like to make sure that we're happy with what we paid for and that we feel it's applicable. So I will send out a couple of dates, and I would appreciate it if you guys would let me know when you would be most available. Couple of other things briefly. Pat's going to touch on this a bit later, but I would ask everyone, do not try to communicate with Michelle in any shape or form regarding city business. I spoke with her briefly yesterday just to find out how she spent her first week. Congratulations. One of the things that came up was that she canceled the credit card. Unbeknownst to us, we have no credit card now. This was something that should have been done while she was still here on the job, and she could have asked myself or Andrea or someone to go in with her. We could have transferred that and had a continual credit card available. Right now, we have nothing. We have a balance on the account. It's not bad. That needs to be paid, but we need to go in and get a credit card. The other thing was, when I talked to her about that, she introduced the subject, but she refused to explain exactly what had happened until I assured her that she would, in fact, get her check. You all know as well as I do that this is something we're going to have to vote on. We're going to have to assess the success or lack thereof of the fulfillment of her end of her contract, and determine whether that's what we want to do or if we want to change the amount or whatever. But in the course of that conversation, I did assure her that, I would try to do that. I asked her a question about a document that I had received, which would have required a simple yes or no, and I was told that she would not answer the question until she had a pay structure in place. So I would urge you all, please do not ask her any questions, because we're not going to pay that unless we all agree to do that going forward. I think that's all I got. So status report from Aldermen. Jeff?
I don't have anything right now.
Andrew?
Nothing significant for the ward. I did just have a quick question about the credit card. Did she cancel it because it was in her personal name?
She did? No, she canceled it because, and as I understand this, I've made a bunch of phone calls to different municipalities. Apparently the way this works is, even though we're a government, I believe that the person's name on the card is held in the name of the city, but the person's name on the card has to provide a social security number to go with it. That's fine. But it would have been nice to know that she was going to do that while she was still on board, that we could have made this an easier transition rather than finding out that we don't have anything now.
So it was her personal credit on the line.
Yes.
For the city.
Yes, it was her personal
Okay.
social security number, yes.
Got it.
And the same thing happens in Winchester. And Megan, do you know, is that how Wildwood works? I didn't contact Joe.
We have city issued credit cards that says the city's name on it and employee's name on it. And only 3 people have a credit card.
Right.
I don't know if they have to give their social security number.
Okay.
But it says both the city's name and the employee's name on it. So it's more of a corporate card.
Right, and that's what ours should be. Andrea, did ours have the city name on it?
It did.
Okay,
So I can understand why she would be uncomfortable, but
I totally agree.
okay.
But I
You could have
would,
let us know, though.
it
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
been much better and
Yeah.
more expeditiously done last week.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Brock, do you have anything?
I'll talk about Alderman pay and the retirement options for our full-time folks later.
Okay. Let's see, Honora,
No.
Greg?
I have a question for Patrick. The agreement, the contract with Michelle, is the amount of money she gets negotiable, or was it to protect the city? And she gets it and there's no possibility that we can reduce it?
Well, it's a two-way agreement, Greg. I mean, she agreed to do certain things and we agreed to do certain things. And all honestly, the wording of the contract was a little bit lenient towards her. She agreed to participate in training. She agreed to participate in development of policies and procedures for City Hall. So I would say it could be interpreted in favor of her if she participated in some manner and developed some policies and some procedures. She did, I think, help enter with some training. And I'll touch on, as I touch on my report, I think, since I did not deal with her day to day after we signed the contract, I think the mayor and Andrea could kind of fill in some of the blanks. She did not prepare a policy manual as we envisioned, but she just didn't. However, in black and white letter to contract, she was not required to. She was required to participate and cooperate. And so, basically, from what I'm being told, she did the bare minimum instead of meeting our expectations. So the $13,000 that was agreed to in the severance package, it'd be hard to not pay it, legally speaking. But I think you should be aware that her last month or two here at the city, from what I'm being told, and even when I met with the mayor and Michelle to sit down and talk about the transfer from one to the other, a lot of questions went unanswered as to her as things that were expected of her. But I, legally speaking, really don't think you can get out paying the money unless you want a lawsuit. Okay? But very clear, she
The total.
clocked the time, but did not maybe fulfill all the obligations, but they are vague enough that that's just how it is. Okay? But you do have to approve the check amount just because it is a regular check, on the audit, just like any other major expenditure. But I think, I don't want to speak for Sue, I mean, I know I'm a little disappointed in what was provided, and you can speak further because you dealt with her more on a day-to-day basis.
Well, and to Pat's point, yes, I was very disappointed in the way she left. Credit card not being withstanding. There was pretty much that attitude her last few weeks. Pat and I sat down with her and talked to her about various things, and her answer on several occasions was very blunt. You guys, I'm out of here. I don't even want to answer this or talk about this. I'm done. I was done last week, last month, whatever. Andrea, I know, got that response in response to, can you put together a policy manual? She handed us this sheet, there's a couple of sheets here, from the firm of attorneys Cunningham, Vogel, and Roast. I'm not even sure if this is trademark or copyrighted or not. It may well be. This is all we've got. It's a January, February, March.
Point of order,
Vogel.
Mayor.
Yes.
At what point does this become closed business, perhaps? I don't know the line, but
You're right.
we're in Alderman updates right now.
You're right. We've deviated. My apologies.
So to answer your point,
Yeah.
I think I addressed, can you legally get out of paying her or reducing the amount only if there's conclusive evidence that she did not fulfill her obligations. And I would say, and I put this in writing to the mayor a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, she did enough as a bare minimum to meet the four corners of the contract. She certainly did not exceed anything, but she met the bare minimum.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, just being honest. She met the bare minimum.
Thank you.
But to Andrew's point, Pat has another section under attorney's report. He may wish to address additional areas or maybe covered it now. So, sorry, Lynn, do you have anything?
As another, MSD continues to work, preliminary work on the sewer line going through West Hampton. Soon they'll start the dig before too long.
Okay. Do you know?
That's it.
Do you know when they're going to start? Any idea?
Not when they're gonna start digging, but they're doing preliminary work, so it could be any time.
Cool. Okay. Mr. City Attorney.
Okay, I actually have a couple comments tonight. First, we kind of touched upon it. We don't have an agenda item and we don't have any other additional resolution, but the payment of the severance to Michelle, $13,011.80, should be on the audit list for approval tonight. But in my packet, I see the audit from December, so I don't know if there's a different audit sheet floating around, but you're contractually obligated to pay it, but you still need to approve the issuance of the check on an audit report. Just like, every month you approve my check, or you approve payroll, or taxes, or police.
So what do we need to do?
This is on the list of bills. You would just approve it as the list of bills to be paid. And only if you have any exception, you'll vote against it. You would just vote in favor of paying the audit, just like any other bill.
All right.
Yeah.
Would that be on next month's audit?
It should be on this month's audit.
Well,
But we don't
that's
have
a
one
whole
audit.
other. We'll get there.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then secondly, I did provide Michelle before she left, and then when I met with her, with the mayor, she, in writing and via text and also in person, agreed to do an exit interview. I contacted her today to provide a time on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. The idea is I'm drafting another very good attorney to sit in as an outside observer and to meet with her and do a full exit interview with her over lunch. So it's not a confrontational or not an adversarial. It's a polite, professional exchange. I will provide questions in advance.
Excuse me, Pat asked if I would like to sit in, and I said no, because I think Michelle should have an opportunity to speak with Pat and someone.
Yeah, Charlie Rosini.
Also,
I really don't want any elected official of the city trying to. I'd rather get the true story and also bring in, like I said, the outside attorney who works with me as an impartial body language, truth detector, make sure I'm not being biased, just try to hit some of the highlights. And I'm gonna give her a list of some in advance of questions, general topics, and then maybe go into some of the areas that I know people have asked questions about over the past year. Vision to be maybe a couple hours, and put together a short report for you guys, and we can discuss it and just kind of try to close that chapter, and see if there's ways that we can improve our operations as an employer, as a government. Try to see any trends that we thought, we've heard a lot of things over the past year, trying to see if there's anything that we can get to the bottom of. So that's that. Any questions about that? Or anything?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Other topic I've been noticing more and more recently, is there's been a lot of communications via email and even some text, but a lot of communication via email between aldermen and the city assistant clerk, and during non-working hours, like after what we agreed with Michelle last year was limit communications, after 5 or after, and not on weekends. But I'm seeing that uptick. This is starting over again, and I like to bring it to you guys' attention. And I understand that something's an emergency or some pressing issue, but I thought you all agreed that you're not gonna be working weekends or making city staff work weekends. So I just want to bring it to everyone's attention and really try to discourage it. Andrea, if you want to throw any comments, but I'm here to just kind of remind you what we all discussed and some of the problems we had with Michelle, and we have Megan coming on, who's going to be salary. Great, she's salary, but we also don't want her feeling compelled to work Saturday and Sunday, as what Michelle was alleging when we had that fiasco. That's the only way I can describe it as a fiasco. That was something else. And then also, I noticed some of the communications, I've been sensing more and more. I know, Sue, the city is the mayor and the board, the full board and the mayor. No one really, you guys got to work together to run the city. But I've been seeing some emails and I've heard some feedback that no one alderman can direct city staff to take action without the full board's approval or cooperation with the mayor. So I really want to encourage you guys, with new city clerk coming on, getting Megan off to a good start, and be very clear that the board acts as one, and they work together with the mayor. And with Megan starting, I just wanted her to get off on a good foot. So that's all I got to say. Any questions?
Could you give an example of an action that an alderman tried to take solo without full board approval that should not have?
Well, I know there was direction regarding website design. I know I did not go through and bring in all the emails, but there's a lot of certain, whether digital or written agenda, changes to various software, reaching out, suggesting that maybe she should come to this meeting as a good learning point. And even though she doesn't start work until the 18th, I did not come in with a list, and this is not a closed session. I'm just saying to everyone, avoid after hours, and unless there's a committee, and I know when we formed that HR committee, it was Greg, Len, and Jeff, and we met a lot, and you guys were kind of delegated to make decisions, right? And that was a decision by the whole board, that you guys delegated. So I'm just trying to avoid any one member of the board really trying to solve a problem or think we're doing something, but I just don't want the city clerk feeling compelled to being bossed around by individual aldermen who may not have authority to be doing that in the future. But like I said, I'm not singling anyone out. I just see a trend, and I'm just trying to get it back under control, so to speak. and remind everyone.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Any other comments? Nope. Okay. Unfinished business. Schedule working session, we already discussed that. Update on City Hall remodeling project. I think this is going to please everyone. Brad said that he was hoping to be done this week for a Friday move-in, but apparently a couple of the folks are under the weather. The construction folks are under the weather, so it looks like probably Wednesday of next week we will be moving in the office. If anybody is willing, available, you might carry a couple of boxes, nothing heavy, on Monday. This is not liability issues.
I'm getting paranoid.
I was
I
gonna
know.
say, you
Hold on,
had
I'm
us
trying to
specifically
switch.
not do that last time.
Yeah, that's
No, this
like
is not moving equipment. This is, I gotta,
still
Stuff.
movement. It's
Yeah, I
not
was
part
gonna
of
say, it's
standard.
not-
got it, okay.
I don't like it. I
All
don't like
right,
it.
all right.
Hopefully it won't.
I told Brad, he said to run it up the flagpole, so I'm doing that. Okay, so our original budget was $75,000. Currently, we have spent $70,951.49, which means we have a savings to date of probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $4,000. There may be a couple of extra expenses coming in. This contingency fund includes the cost of, Brad was able to get Chesterfield to produce some really large colored maps of Clarkson Valley that delineate the wards very clearly. We haven't had one that was readable in a long time, so he'll get a bird's eye view of that plus a color-coded map. And then we gotta do something with that to mount them, so we can put them on a wall rather than just be loose paper. So there's that expense. There may be an increase to Brad's billing time because he has managed this entire project and he's done an awesome job. I mean, we're under budget, we're ahead of schedule, and he's been a huge help. I was able to negotiate a conference table, a credenza, and 3 chairs, which you are all sitting in as we speak. These chairs will go around our conference table from ECP. The conference table that we purchased was in this back room. It's a nice table, it's very nice. It also has a matching credenza that goes with it that is capable of storing and concealing the refrigerator. So it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna be really pretty. And
So that was from here in the building?
yeah,
Oh.
so we didn't have to hire a moving company. We gotta hire a couple of guys. I think Brad called them 2 gentlemen and,
2 men in a truck,
no, not,
not them.
no, it was someone else. 2 gentlemen in a truck or something, similar, but not the same. Anyway, the table has been disassembled and it will be reassembled in our space. So then there's also, I just threw a number out to Lauren. We asked her about that at first and she said no, she didn't want to sell it. We said, hey, it's sitting here in this room, you guys they're talking about moving people, we'll give you $750 for the table. Okay. And I'll give you $250 for the credenza. Done. So for $1,000 we got our nice used furniture. And they threw in 10 good chairs to seal the deal. So we're in good shape. Okay. Went over the court fees and everything else. Sorry, update on City Hall. So discuss and pass, next we got discuss and pass aldermanic pay increase, and Brock was kind enough to do some research on that. Yes.
I move that we table this since we don't have a revenue and expense sheet and we don't know what our revenue and expenses are.
Table what?
What you're discussing, the automatic pay increase.
Well, right now we're just going to discuss facts.
It says
We're-
discuss and pass, and I said, no, I table this.
Okay, well, Does anybody object to that, or a second and a motion and a second to table it? Or do we want to just go ahead and discuss it and vote next month?
I second the motion.
To what?
Her motion was to table it.
To table it?
Table it.
You want to table it? Is that correct?
Talking to me?
Yes.
I second the motion. No.
Yes. No, I'm looking right at you, and I was making sure that I knew what motion you were seconding. Okay.
The motion that's on the table.
Okay, so ayes and nays?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's tabled. Sorry, Brock.
That's all right, that's true.
Okay. All right, again, discuss retirement plan options for employees. Brock has done some research into loggers versus independent investment in 401k. Wildwood does not participate in loggers. Megan is, however, vested in loggers, so whichever way we go will work for her. So, Brock, you wanna
Yeah,
talk
so
about?
generally speaking, we've got 3 options for developing some type of retirement benefit for current and future employees. Loggers, obviously, we've spoken about many times. We've also historically made contributions to a Roth IRA for former employees. And another option would be to start a small business 401k plan, which are reasonably affordable for a small number of employees like ours, pretty low administration costs. What you've got in your binder is essentially a comparison of those 3 options. The main difference in terms of upfront cost is the Roth IRA is already, those don't have any upfront costs really, although both loggers and the 401k program have about $500 upfront cost to get it started. The 401k is just like an administration fee to set it up, whereas with loggers, that expense goes towards their study of our city to determine how much loggers will cost us in the future. In terms of a total cost, loggers or the 401k, the packages that we might offer, it would cost us relatively the same. If you look over probably a 10-year window, there wouldn't be a big difference. Unless for some reason loggers actuarial study puts us towards the high end of this range that the representative gave me. She said 10 to 16%. I've assumed 11%. For these numbers here. So if it is closer to 16, that number is going to be not a lot higher, but noticeably higher. The one other large difference between loggers and any of the other options is that there's a minimum number of hours that have to be certified for an employee to be eligible to participate under it. That minimum is 1,000, but
1,000 per year?
1,000 per year, yes. We can reduce our costs by increasing that minimum. So you've got either 1,000, 1,250, or 1,500 hours. And the higher we go, the more affordable the participation is by the city. There are a number of parameters you could tweak to make it less expensive for us. So those are the main differences. The big thing with loggers is we really won't know how much it's going to cost us unless we approve going forward with their actuarial study, where we'll send someone from Jeff City in to look at our record and our books and our staff and their demographics and how long they've been working and so forth. And that cost for that trip and their big report, which I'm told is anywhere from 50 to 100 pages, is $580. So if we wanted to go forward with that, no matter what, we have that expense coming. I'll stop there.
I have a question for you, Brock.
Yeah.
On the bottom of the page, it
Yeah.
says loggers, cancellation of city participation, not allowed.
There is no exit provision in the pension.
That's correct.
Once you're in,
It's state
you're in.
statute.
Copy.
Once you're in, you're in.
But that's the individual, the employee.
No, the
City.
employer. The
Oh,
employer.
that's us.
That's the employer, the city.
Now
Once you're
granted,
in,
if we have no active employees,
yeah.
it doesn't cost us anything.
Sure.
It's only just a percentage of our payroll. So we're stuck in it, but we don't have any eligible employees anymore. It's not like
Copy
we're
that.
paying into it.
Thank you.
Did anyone ask Megan?
Yes,
Okay.
I discussed that with her briefly, but I also told her that it would be her option. So she's done both, so,
I would prefer more discussion not in a public forum, but I'm
absolutely.
happy to talk about that.
Sure, excellent, thank you. Okay, is there any other further discussion on this? Any thoughts about?
Discuss it.
Excuse me, I didn't hear what Megan
She said
said.
she would prefer not to discuss this in a public forum.
Okay,
As to what she would like to do or her opinions.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right,
You
no,
all
I just wanted
discuss.
to make sure, since she's the only employee that's involved in this, that we get her input. That's what I'm concerned about.
But like if you guys decide to go loggers, it's gonna affect every future employee of the city as well, so it's a big decision.
Hopefully that won't be for a long time. No, I'm not concerned about that.
Well, one thing I will say is I did speak with Wildwood, and one of the things that they noted was that loggers tends to be a program in which the older cities typically participate, but the newer cities, as they are, have chosen not to. I asked Michelle, initially she was very much in favor of loggers until she discovered that there was a 5-year period before she was invested, and she obviously had no intent of working another 5 years, so she declined to do that. But she did say that the return on the investment that she had as a result of her pension contribution was very successful, and she was happy with it. So it does offer a little more flexibility, but that's something we have to decide. Do we want to continue with this for the rest of whatever, or do we want to continue our current procedure, which is to contribute to a 401k?
And not discussing the exact numbers, what you've done in the past compared to the percentage, the average anticipated percentage of gross wages, it's gonna be about, it's gonna be more, substantially more than what you've done in the past if you go with loggers.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about that, and we can talk about how we want to vote on this next month, I hope. Okay. Okay, discuss onboarding of city clerk administrator. This nice young lady in the back corner back there will join us on 18 February. It's going to be a little bit of a strange week because the first day of the week is 17th. It's Monday. That's a holiday, so we obviously won't be open. And since Michelle is gone, and Andrea scheduled a vacation prior to Megan's date of hire, so she will not be here that week either. So I'm asking each and all of you to stop by on occasion, just touch base with, spend a little time with her.
Sue, I have a question. A couple Saturdays ago, we had a special meeting in which it was a unanimous approval to bring Michelle back with pay for those days.
If we so chose to do. So,
That was our decision. We voted yes.
okay, so do you want to do that?
That's what we voted to do.
That's what we are.
Yeah,
doing.
next
Exactly
week,
what to do.
right.
Okay,
That's what
well
we're-
then fine.
Yeah.
We'll
We already
ask her
voted
to
on
come
that,
back.
yeah.
Okay, then we'll ask her to come back that week so she can sit with Megan and walk through stuff. Okay,
I thought it was next week.
It's the
When
week-
is Andrea going on vacation? Is that next week?
No, it is not next week. I do know that. It's the week of,
you'll be gone the week of the 17th.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, I thought that it was, we were voted on it for when no one was going to be in the office at all.
That would be the.
I thought that's what we were
That's what
doing.
we were told was the 10th to
Yeah, that's
14th.
what we voted on, was that.
Well, that would be the 18th through the 21st, because I'm on vacation and Michelle's no longer here, so.
Yeah, but Megan's here.
Megan will be here by herself.
Right, so she is here. So
So
we really don't need
anybody.
anyone in
We
the
don't-
office
right.
with, other than Megan. I thought when we voted on it, there was going to be no one in the office at all.
That
We
is-
were told it was February 10th through 14th.
Yeah, that was my
We
understanding.
had nobody.
Yeah. So Megan will be at City Hall.
So we will have someone in the
Right,
office.
because I was thinking it was next week that Andrea was gone.
No, it's the
It's the
17th.
following week.
So
Okay.
So there will be someone in the
that was a misunderstanding, I
office.
think, from all of us.
There will be someone in the office.
Right, so we don't need to have Michelle come back since
Okay,
if someone will be there.
all right. Okay, so, tonight we will, sign her contract that's under new business as Bill 0556. And we can get that T crossed and I dotted. So I need to discuss Bill 0.
Yeah, point
Sorry.
of order. It's not on the agenda.
What?
556 is not on the agenda.
No, it's not.
554.
554, 555, but not 556.
4 is, yeah.
Where's
So
the-
the
We're gonna
556
amend the
is signed.
agenda.
4 is in unfinished business.
My apologies, we were,
That's right.
I'm sorry.
5 is in new business.
Right, and it should be a 556 under new business.
Can we amend at this point or no?
We already accepted the
And you
agenda.
set the agenda, but you already, I mean, you already voted to hire her, you already voted to, to get a contract in place. She needs to start on the 18th. I mean, but it was missed on the agenda.
My apologies. I had it written on another piece of paper
Yeah,
and it
I-
didn't carry over.
And I missed it when you were approving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all in agreement.
Right.
So,
And it's been discussed before in different
Right,
manners.
we've
This is not
discussed
like
it,
a
we
brand
approved it,
new,
right.
out of nowhere topic. You might want to make a motion to go back and add this as an item D on the agenda. Otherwise, we've got to have a special meeting.
Can it be handled at March? The March meeting?
Well,
Well, no, because she's coming to work.
you're appointing her city clerk, city administrator, city clerk. That's an appointment that has to be made by the mayor and approved by the board. So you're saying you want a ratification vote, so she just starts working, even though we want her to have a contract, I mean, we still agreed to she's gonna be an at-will employee until March, or just have a special meeting. I think it's kind of counterproductive if she starts working without a formal appointment.
Right.
so you tell us what we can and can't do, Pat.
I mean, we can reopen to amend the agenda, that is on D, or have a special meeting via Zoom for 2 minutes.
Right. I would suggest we have a redo the agenda and add this to the agenda at this time.
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
And-
nays?
And the reason I feel okay doing that, I think we all expected it, and it's not a brand new topic, as if suddenly we're out of nowhere, we're appointing someone we've never met, someone we never discussed, or a completely different topic that was not anticipated to the public. And the reason, it was just a mistake.
Point of clarification for you, Patrick. Similar to earlier, understand we gotta have an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
This can be done in open business?
Yes.
With their names and everything? Okay.
Yes, because it's from the actual language, is from the ordinance where she's appointed by the mayor with the consent of the board.
Copy that, all right.
And it has to be done by ordinance.
I think we had gotten it. The signatures,
We good?
I think so.
wasn't it? Yeah, it was
Okay.
And you got a yes vote, yeah?
Okay, so, I would like to have a motion and a second to amend the agenda.
I did that already.
A
Second.
second?
Jeff
did.
seconded.
Yeah, we're done with that part, yeah.
Good, okay. Motion, is amended as stated, I guess, to include Bill number 0556 to appoint the city administrator and city clerk per Clarkson Valley Code 115.090. So let's discuss and vote. I propose that we,
Still have unfinished business to do. All we just did
Oh,
was amend.
yeah, you're right, right. I'm sorry, I'm jumping out of order. Thanks, Brett. Okay. We didn't finish on.
We're on F.
Okay. Yes.
I did have if we are going to go back on unfinished business, on the onboarding, I think it would be a good idea if Megan would send out an email to all of the residents saying who she is and how she's willing to help everyone with their questions or whatever, that she's the new city administrator clerk. I think that would be good. And then I think it would be also good that if you would introduce her in your thing with.
I had planned to do that.
Right.
I had actually
Okay.
planned to send out an email to everyone myself, introducing her, and certainly she's welcome to follow up with that. But I'd also planned, once we're settled in our new space, to ask everyone to stop by for a specific couple-hour period, maybe cookies and coffee, see the new space, meet the new city administrator, city clerk. But we have to get in there and do that first, so it might be a couple of weeks. But yes, I plan to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to item F, discuss and approve Bill 0554 to contract for labor and employment legal services with John Marino. Andrea, can you please read the bill the first time?
An ordinance authorizing a contract for legal services with special counsel and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city of Clarkson Valley, St. Louis County, Missouri.
Motion and a second to discuss.
What are these legal services that he'll be providing us?
The contract that the employment contract that he wrote that will allow us to
Yeah,
hire.
it states in section 1 to assist with drafting an employment contract for the city of Clarkson
Oh.
Valley.
Sorry, so
So-
the thing he already did.
Yeah, the thing you already
We already
did.
did.
Yes.
The one thing is,
Better late than never.
That's right.
you know?
Honora, did you have something?
I
to
thought
say?
that what was sent to us earlier had that in the future,
That sentence has been removed.
it was taken out. It wasn't, though, what was sent to us was the old one.
It has been removed.
It has been on this one, right, but I didn't see it before, so that's fine.
Okay, so do I have a motion and a second to discuss? Seems we're already discussing. Okay, I guess, Andrea, will you please read it a second time?
Sure. An ordinance authorizing a contract for legal services with special counsel and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city of Clarkson Valley, St. Louis County, Missouri.
Motion and a second to vote?
Motion
Didn't we
to
already vote on
approve.
this?
Move to accept bill number
Go ahead.
0554.
Call the roll, Andrea, please.
Linda, yeah?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes or no
Yes.
on the?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Greg Bogosian?
Yes.
I don't
Nora Schiller?
think
Yes.
you need a second motion to vote.
And Rob Scott?
Yes.
Introduce it, discuss it, second reading, then call.
Andrew Lowe?
Yes.
Jeff Schweik?
Yes.
It passes.
The bill passes. Megan, congratulations. I'll give you a copy after the meeting. Sort of like after the horses left the barn, but sorry about the delay.
Point of clarification, I thought you said that Megan had already received the draft of the,
She has seen the draft. She has not gotten a signed copy. She will get that.
oh. well, that's-
She got a congratulations that we approved payment to the lawyer who just.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this isn't. that's
No, this is not her
That's not
contract,
that,
no.
you're talking about 0556 still.
Yes, that's correct.
You can congratulate her.
Okay. All right. That's old business. So new business. Jeff, you were kind enough to offer to go explore some information about city's
I'm gonna hand
cell
out
phone number.
Just a little spreadsheet of what our funding is.
Thank you.
This is everybody here.
Thank you.
So I went to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Both AT&T and Verizon will give us iPhone 15s. T-Mobile was a 14. The monthly service at $87 is unlimited talk and text and data for both AT&T and Verizon's $90. For T-Mobile, to get that same, it's the $100. And then they just have different packages going down for less amount of megabytes and things like that, where they'll start throttling you down and stuff like that. The insurance is basically the same in them all, 17, 18, and 18, which includes lost phone, damaged phone, stolen phone. That fast track's a higher priority if cell towers are down and things like that. AT&T charges $29 for that. Verizon didn't really have anything like that. T-Mobile said the higher plans get the higher priority. AT&T charges $20 to install the device. They all have 36-month contracts. They will give you AT&T and Verizon will give you a phone with an iPhone 16 with any trade-in. So we deal with AT&T right now for our iPad for Brad. Thank you.
Well, we also have our city service through them, don't we?
We do our fiber.
Our hard
Okay.
line and
But
yeah, data.
it'll be a separate
That was
account.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
The iPhone, or the iPad was on there, but not the other. So, just depends which way you want to go. Probably AT&T might be the best idea, just because you have the iPad there.
Well, but we prepay for that, so that's
You
not
do
a big-
prepay for
not a big deal. I will say, if I may, we're opening for comment. I had Verizon for a long time before I moved here, and I don't know what you guys all have for your personal devices, but we switched to AT&T. And Verizon was not that great in our neighborhood or around town. AT&T is much better. That's just personal opinion and not objective by any means, and not an expert opinion, but
Yeah, we have AT&T, and Sam and I have kept it for years, even though some of our friends have alternate services, but they hit dead spots a lot more than we do. And to Andrew's point, I've never had a problem here in town where I've not been able to get service. And I doubt that the phone is going to be traveling much out of town. So I would support AT&T. Anybody else got any comments, thoughts?
I'm preferential to AT&T as well. What's the device installment that they're charging us though? Is that like,
First time, just to
Load it up.
oh, that's just like
activation
one time?
fee, yeah,
Oh, okay,
one-time
sorry.
activation fee.
I was thinking like an installment plan
No.
for the device itself.
No.
Okay.
and the $29 is an offer because we're a government.
It's just, it was like, again, if towers were down, it'd give you a higher priority. I don't think we should do that.
I would agree.
I feel like implementation on that might not be guaranteed.
I agree, and
What about the insurance?
the insurance is $17 with AT&T. They're $1 cheaper than the other two, but that includes lost, damaged, or stolen
Are
phones.
you recommending the insurance?
Yes, I would recommend the insurance, which is,
Yeah, the cost of the device, you have to have that device for a long time
Yeah.
before the insurance would be more expensive than buying a new one.
yes.
So, I agree with that. I mean, iPhone 15 is what, $600-700 probably if you were to buy it outright. I don't know.
I didn't see a price.
iPhone 15?
Yeah. Or wait, what are we?
We're at 16.
We're on 16. Okay, never
You
mind.
got
So closer to
15 on
$1,000 then for the iPhone.
Probably.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy
Yeah,
her
so,
15 or 16?
Yeah, so you're talking like
Me?
10 years of.
Or
No,
we?
I would go with the 15. That's what their offer was, the 15. I think that's good enough.
Well, what's the device cost then?
That's free with all this.
Nice.
Okay.
If you had any iPhone past a 3, Verizon will give it to you for free, for free too. They'll give you a 16 for free. But I don't think that's that big of a difference.
Are we looking for a motion to
I'd
just
like-
pick one and go for it? I motion that we move forward with a contract and device with AT&T for the city administrators.
Second.
phone.
Second?
And just a point of order, we'll have to come back in March and approve it because it's a contract, so we have to do an ordinance. Because we can't just, we'll have to get a copy of the customer
For
agreement.
utility even?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
But
So I guess
you say move
Go
forward,
forth.
Yes,
and, yeah.
this is
all right,
good,
cool.
this is
Got it.
progress.
but you're ratified in
Yeah.
March.
So, okay, motion and a second to proceed with an ordinance
I made
to
it.
purchase.
Jeff seconded it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Randy
second.
seconded it.
Purchase a
Sorry.
phone from AT&T and produce an ordinance to be voted on and accepted in March.
And do voice vote.
All
All
good.
ayes, nays?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Excellent, passed in March. Okay, amending the budget. Lynn and I have discussed this repeatedly. We decided that we were gonna do this, try and do this month. We decided we would wait until we get the cell phone costs, we get Megan's insurance information, and we can include her salary in the upcoming budget and any other budget adjustments as necessary to do it one time. So, I guess Keith Slusser, I spoke with Keith, and he agreed that this wasn't an issue as long as we get it done before the end of our fiscal year, which we will. He discussed the budget over the last 5 years. In 2020, we were under budget by $135,000. In 2021, we were over budget by $137,000. That was due to unbudgeted snow removal in charges in 2021, and we budgeted for snow removal in 2020 and didn't use it. 2022, we were under budget due to low miscellaneous. 2023, we were under budget. 2024, we appear to be over, but it's the way ARPA was accounted for. So essentially, we are okay until we start adding these new costs. So we'll adjust the budget when we get those firm numbers in, and we should be good to go. Any discussion, comments, questions?
I mean, I don't know if this is a question for Patrick or anyone else, but, or Lynn or Sue, but it's like, is it normal to amend the budget because we realize we're gonna be over budget? Because of changes that have happened in the interim?
Yeah, because
Yeah, we
normally,
have to-
most governments that I work with, I mean, as the year goes through, they amend the budget to reflect, and I think it's proper
Changes.
auditing standards too. If you anticipate a major change, you amend the budget so you track the accounting. And then he recommended a couple of categories where he saw in last year's audit, we are under budgeted and we went over, so I think he made some recommendations to change it. It's about proper reporting and your monthly financial statements, that he wants to keep it, going forward. But yeah, I see it up a lot.
Okay, that makes sense.
I do.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure, because other years we were over under budget, never did anything about it. So
Right.
now we're doing something about that.
So
I think we got a
I wanna
more
keep it.
proactive
I wanna
auditor
keep it,
involved,
yeah.
maybe he's looking a little more, and accounting standards change too over time.
And several townships I've spoken to, Winchester, for example, has amended their budget probably 3 times any given year.
If it's normal, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. It's
And-
just when
and-
things change from not doing it to doing it.
And off the record
I wanna
comment,
keep it.
I know in the past, Mayor Douglas got recommendations from the auditor to change, and he told him, no, we're not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna tell them to do that.
So,
Doesn't sound, okay.
Okay, all right, so next is discuss and vote on bill number 0555 to appoint deputy city clerk per CV code 115.100. I would like to propose that we officially recognize Andrea as our deputy city clerk. Andrea, would you please read the bill?
An ordinance appointing Andrea Burns as deputy city clerk for the city of Clarkson Valley, St. Louis County, Missouri.
I'd like a motion and a second to discuss.
I move to table this discussion.
Second.
Okay? Ayes, nays?
Aye.
All right, it's tabled. All right, discuss and vote on Bill 0556, appoint city administrator, city clerk per Clarkson Valley Code 115.090. This proposes that we recognize Megan as our city administrator, city clerk. Andrea, will you please read the bill the first time?
Sure. An ordinance appointing appointing Megan Eldridge as administrator, city clerk, and authorizing an employment contract for the city administrator, city clerk, and directing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city of Clarkson Valley, St. Louis County, Missouri.
Need a motion and a second to discuss?
Discuss it. Motion to discuss it.
Second.
Second?
So, just a point of clarification, Patrick, I don't know if it strictly matters. In Megan's contract, she's referred to as the city clerk / administrator, whereas in this bill, she's referred to as the city administrator / clerk. I don't know if it matters.
Well, the bill matches the wording in the ordinance. Okay?
Okay.
The language in the ordinance is a mere copy of what's in our city code.
Okay.
So in the contract, which was not called, he flipped the designation. So to properly follow the city code, we use the wording in the bill.
Okay.
So we may want to amend, when we make a motion to amend the contract, to properly reflect the wording of the city code, to flip it.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good catch.
Okay. Need a motion to amend?
To amend the contract.
I'm sorry,
Not
to
bill.
amend the contract. Yes.
Well, we just opened discussions on the ordinance, so I don't think we can do that right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, but the contract is attached to the ordinance, so you don't.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's true, isn't it?
You don't
Isn't
want
it?
to, you can't approve the bill when it refers to an attachment, which is the contract with
Copy.
conflicting terms.
Yeah.
Patrick, can we amend the motion to include changing the wording in the contract?
Yes, you can.
All right, so I make that motion.
Okay.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Jeff, you can have.
All right, that's a roll call, right? Or is this part, the amendment, that's a voice vote, right?
The amendment, yes, a
Yes,
voice vote.
Okay.
We read it twice.
Any nays? Let's put
This
it
is
that
just the
way.
amendment, we're not approving anything.
Any nays to the amendment? Nope. Okay, that passes. So in that case, are we ready to
So we need a motion
second
to,
time?
well, I would restate the motion that approve, or just Bill 556, subject to the amendment to change the wording in the attached contract to the proper term, city administrator / city clerk. Whatever. Make sure.
That's exactly what I said.
What he said. Okay, I propose that we formally recognize Megan as our city clerk / administrator. Oh.
Get the right wording.
We have to vote on the motion.
What is it? Yeah, city administrator, city clerk. That's the term we have to use.
Okay, now, okay. City administrator, city clerk. Okay. Because I've always heard Michelle referred to as city clerk / administrator.
Well, our ordinance says the contrary.
Okay,
And then there were discussions, like you put, when you approved the new position wording, you put city administrator first to make it sound more important than city clerk. That was a big discussion you guys had last year.
all right. So where am I in all this?
I think we're discussing the bill as amended.
I think we were
Yep.
doing the amendment.
She hasn't read it the second time.
She has to read the bill a second time, yeah. Okay.
Do we have to vote on the amendment first?
I thought
You already did.
There were no
Oh, we
nays.
did, okay. I didn't hear.
Okay, read the bill a second time, please.
An ordinance appointing Megan Eldridge, city administrator / city clerk, and authorizing an employment contract for the city administrator / city clerk, and directing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city of Clarkson Valley, St. Louis County, Missouri.
Please call the roll.
Lynn Benyett,
Yes.
Greg Bogosian,
Yes.
Lenore Schiller,
Yes.
Ron McDonald,
Yes.
Jeff Schweig,
Yes.
Andrew Lowe.
Yes.
The bill has passed. Thank you all very much. Welcome aboard, Megan.
Absolutely.
Yay. City Administrator / City Clerk number 2. Congratulations.
You're number one for me. Yeah.
Okay, the audit, going on the audit, that will be made available later this week. There's too much stuff that Andrew is trying to get through today to get that together, so it will come shortly. Miscellaneous, any
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
So we did receive one that was labeled January via email in our original package, but that's not what's printed. So there's
Correct.
obviously
There's a mix-up, an error,
Just an error.
yeah. It's not, the
So
the January budget is not prepared at this time.
so even the one that was in the email that says January 7th, no good to.
I believe Andrea and I had a conversation about that this afternoon. There were a couple of things that needed to be changed on there, so that will come later this week. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll vote on that later.
Pardon me?
We'll vote on that later.
Yes.
But it's- okay.
Yes. There's nothing to vote on.
So Pat, does this mean we're putting off voting on, or we're putting off authorizing the payment of the package to Michelle?
Yeah.
Well, technically, since you don't have an audit to approve, yes, unfortunately,
Yeah.
unless you get the audit put together and have a special meeting to approve the audit before next week when I meet with her.
And we could do that virtually.
Yeah, in the past, we've approved audits, and then it was approved the following month, so.
Yeah, but,
By
yeah,
email.
we could do that and ratify it via email if they can get it together, ratify the vote at the March meeting to pay the bills, or, you know,
I'm gonna say it's more than just Michelle's, it's police.
is it trash,
Sanitation.
everyone,
Yeah, all our regular bills.
yeah.
So is that the reason it's not ready tonight, or is there other things going on?
Andrea had some other conflicts with
Okay.
the information she had available.
So is the plan to put something together and approve it via email?
Within the next few days,
next bit,
hopefully.
And then approve it, ratification in March? Is that the plan?
I think we could probably approve it prior to March,
I
We
mean,
can approve it at
officially.
our special meeting we're having,
but we
You said we
can,
can approve it by email.
yeah. But he said we need to prove it after that in person, so I said we could do it at a special meeting.
Or at the March meeting. We've done that before where they pay the bills and then
They'll
we come
pay the
back.
bills before, just with our email.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then we
that's
come
fine.
back at the official following meeting. I mean, you can't do anything really out of the ordinary, but the regular, usual, customary invoices, you know, like you normally, that you know about, that and that have been budgeted,
All right.
is allowable.
So this would include paying Michelle.
Because that was part of her compensation and it's on the city records, yes. And you're under contract to do it as well. It's not a
Yes.
surprise.
okay, we good? Okay. Miscellaneous, any miscellaneous items to discuss?
I got a new one on the miscellaneous. And this is a total technicality, and I apologize for this. Michelle is no longer with us. She's the former city administrator, city clerk, okay? Megan doesn't start until February 18th as the new city administrator, city clerk. Under our ordinance, what was it, 115.090, the city administrator / city clerk can appoint assistants to work for her. She doesn't start till the 18th. Andrea is a part-time employee of the city. Some of the documents over the next 2 weeks require the city clerk, assistant city clerk, deputy city clerk to sign. Due to the fact that she was not appointed and tabled, she really has not been designated. That her designation as a assistant or deputy city clerk does not exist at this point in time. She's a part-time assistant to the city, but the procedures for her appointment to represent and sign these documents does not exist until Megan starts and you guys appoint her as deputy city clerk. That's FYI. So we're kind of in limbo.
We can't sign
8
anything for a
business
couple
days,
weeks.
yeah.
Yes, you guys, but she,
What's coming up that would be effective by?
Is that something, is it anything that I can do as mayor?
yeah, you can sign as mayor, you can sign as document, but I'm saying as of right now, you do not have an assistant or
We don't
deputy
have
city clerk.
anybody.
We have a worker. No offense, I don't mean to call you just a worker. But
She's not an official in the city.
Michelle did not hire her, she was not an administrator at that time. the city hired her. So I don't think that had anything to do with it.
But the city hired her, but they've never been designated because the two ordinances, when you read them together, to be in compliance. So like meaning to sign a document to the bank or sign a document to the state or the ethics commission. You gotta go through the right hoops to have the right authority to sign certain official documents. And I don't think for the next 2 weeks she can do that.
And what I'm hearing is tonight and for the next 2 weeks, there's nothing that we see that would require this.
At this time.
I don't
8
think
business
so.
days. It's 8 business days we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Maybe
we're
we'll be a little
fine.
late on it.
I'm just saying
Worst case scenario.
we just push everything back.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
If you guys are good with that.
Yeah. We'll get through
The
it.
two bills then, the two ordinances you guys just, 554 and 556. That's how the conversation even came up.
I mean, you guys approve the ordinances and you can sign them, but they cannot be attested until the 18th, when your city administrator, city clerk comes in.
Hurry up, Megan.
I mean, it's,
So,
Weeks into that.
is that the whole point of 555, was to bridge that gap?
Yes.
basically,
So an 8-day problem is gonna.
but then going forward too. I mean, if
Of
she's
course, going
gonna,
forward too, but that's,
I mean,
that's
if she's
the
gonna
going
go
forward is
That
bigger.
leaves-
going,
Yes.
yes, like if,
That leaves us with Plan B should we need it.
it was kind of fix a problem that we identified going forward to make sure we have the right things designated. But we'll be fine. We got 8 days.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah, more or less.
Just wanted to explain the technicality.
We made it. I've been alderman for 24 years, and we never had a deputy clerk, and we never had a problem.
Welcome to 2020.
Other things, I forget, I guess it was you and I talked about just briefly, Michelle's equipment.
Oh,
Has
yeah, I
she
forgot about that.
returned?
Andrea, we did get, correct, we got all of her stuff back?
Everything but the docking station, she has found and will bring in.
Okay, yeah. We thought we were missing a monitor, but it turned up located in another cubicle somewhere. So
I
to the
didn't,
point, she
I didn't
didn't
think she
take it
did.
home.
Yeah.
So we have everything back with that exception. When did she say she'd bring it back?
She didn't say, but I imagine it'll be in tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, well, I would assume it'd be before your interview, so.
I move to adjourn.
There will be no closed meeting. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
Sorry. All right. I did do that once in a while, Greg.
Andrew, I thought you were asleep down there.
Oh no, far from it.
Meeting is adjourned.